Welcome back to the show, everybody. We have had several weeks of some interesting, intense, heavy, potent episodes, and we're having a light, fun one this week, and I'm so excited. Just in time for March and spring break, I have my friend Megan Lanford. I almost said Megan Goyette because we knew each other before we both got married. Megan, welcome to the podcast. I'm so excited to have you on here.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here and just teach you all about traveling.
Yay. Okay. So, just a little backstory because Megan and I have some history and it's sort of fun. The last time that we actually hung out in real life, we were traveling. We were in Vail, Colorado. Oh my God. That is when I was drinking a lot of alcohol. I think I peed my pants because I had just had a baby and I don't know what all we were drinking, but we were walking through the streets of Vail and I like started running and didn't realize, I don't think I had ran since I'd had a baby and didn't realize that I can't run and not pee and I peed my pants. Anyways, that's a fun story. But Vail is one of my favorite places and it was fun to be there with you in the thick of the pandemic. I think we were the only group there not
Yeah.
wearing a mask and people were yelling at us for not wearing
Yeah.
masks and it
It
was
was an interesting trip for sure.
it was interesting. It was beautiful. Vail is one of my favorite places. And we have reconnected as well through human design and through both of our new businesses. And you were actually in my first ever Voxer mastermind. So the past 2 years, I've been running a mastermind, the New Paradigm Mastermind, and I paused that just for a little bit. We'll probably open it again at some point in 2024. But for now, I'm doing 5 week masterminds focused on certain topics. Like the one that's going on right now is Kabbalah based. And the one that you were a part of was getting your podcast up and running. I was like, hey, it was in late 2023. And I was like, hey, I just need a few people who want to start a podcast in 2024. And I'm going to guide you and we're going to get it up and running. And yours is live now,
Yes, I'm
which
so
is
excited. You totally pushed me to do that because I would have probably never launched my podcast if it wasn't for that mastermind. So
well,
thank you for that.
I'm so glad it is out in the world. It is called the Points to Paradise podcast. I'm going to link it in the show notes below. It's a podcast dedicated to helping other moms take their family on dream vacations using points and miles. And it's going to be so good. I've listened to the trailer and I know a lot of the first few episodes and all that fun stuff that you're going to give us. But tell us a little bit about you. You haven't always been in this line of work. You've actually been a rancher, and we met through doing coaching and sales and health and wellness. But give us a little bit of your background, just like 5 minute overview of the past 3 decades of your life, if possible, and how you got into the whole traveling industry.
Yeah, so I've done a little bit of everything. So I was a wildlife biologist, then I took an office job, did some health and wellness stuff. But back in 2022, I was at my office job, 9 to 5. I was pregnant and I was just scrolling on Instagram and just happened to stumble upon travel using credit card points. And I was like, this is genius. And I started doing all the Googling that I could do and took an online course and just really dove into it. And I started learning everything that I could. And I came across this person on Instagram that taught online courses. And I was like, this is really smart. Like, I should teach something, but I didn't know what to teach. Like, I was brainstorming with my husband, and he was like, I don't know, maybe some like wildlife stuff that you know. And I was like, but nobody wants to learn about that.
You do
And
as you get older. Since
yeah,
I've turned 40, I'm like, oh my God, what type of bird is that? I'm a birder now. So
I know
just
I'm such a bird nut.
keep that in your back pocket.
Maybe one day.
Yeah.
And so I had just learned about human design at that point, and all I knew was I was a projector and that I was supposed to wait for invitations. Like, that's all I knew. And 2 days after we had that conversation, me and my husband, my friend started asking me about credit card points. And I had only posted one thing on my story like a few months back on my personal page. And I was like, how does she even know this? And she's asking all these questions. And I told my husband, I was like, I think this is my invitation. And another friend asked the very next day, like kind of the same question. I was like, this is weird. And so I told him, I was like, I think I'm going to do this. And he said, go for it. And the rest is history. I've just gone nuts since then. We went from taking like maybe one vacation a year to over 6 trips a year using our points and miles. So
That's
it
so
kind of came
amazing.
full circle, but it was very unexpected. I never thought I would be doing something like this.
That is so amazing. Okay, just so everybody does know, Megan is a 1-3 profile splenic projector. And I always talk about like, I have a lot of projectors in my world. I mean, I think like 70% of my clients are actually projectors. I think projectors gravitate towards human design because it gives them permission to not be like the rest of the world and to actually be themselves. But with the projectors wait for the invitation and then the generators wait to respond, it really is similar. Like it's us waiting for God to lead us down certain paths instead of trying to force things. The projector vibe is a little bit more personal a lot of the times. Like it's like, oh, that's my invitation from a source, from a person. A lot of times you can like feel it in your body where it's like this is like it's that small still voice inside being like, yes, this is personal, very personal to you. With generators and MGs, it's a little bit different vibe. It's like a little bit less personal vibe. And I don't know. Like it's hard to explain. It's almost like you're working with the whole world as like responding to certain things that you like or don't like, whereas projectors it's like specific divine circumstances and people and situations almost that you're waiting
Yeah.
for the invitation from. So anyways, that's just something that I like to talk about with the projectors. And you also, I totally forgot, you have the same birthday as my daughter. And it's not
Yes.
always this way, but you have the same incarnation cross, which is the right angle cross of the vessel of love. And I just wanted to share that with people really quick because it's very spot on for what you do. So you can do any type of career with any incarnation cross, but I'll read it and then you can see and people can hear about this. So it says it's about loving unconditionally, accepting all aspects of life without judgment, embracing the mystery of existence. It's also about fully embracing life. It calls individuals to deeply immerse themselves in the physical world and truly appreciate the beauty of existence, which traveling and seeing all different places in the world and the physical beauty is like so perfect with that
That is
incarnation
perfect.
cross. Yay. Um and yeah, so I'm going to ask you some specific questions about travel tips and all of that kind of stuff. Um but one thing I will say is I wish that I would have had you when we took our Portugal trip. I'll link that detailed episode in the show notes below too, because it's pretty entertaining. We went to Portugal with a 2-year-old without a freaking stroller, so that was dumb. But
I don't know how you did that.
we bought one while we were there, like the second day. So that's that. We still have it and we use it. It's great. But we did use our, and I probably didn't get my best bang for the best bang for my buck, but we did get all of our miles for free. So we flew from Dallas to New York City, stayed a night there, which was sort of nice to like get the like have straight flights and sort of get there and walk around since we had a 2-year-old. We did a whole we went to like New York Zoo. We like saw all kinds of stuff. And then the next night took an overnight flight to Portugal. So it was nonstop and it was overnight. So we were all able to sleep, which was really, really nice.
Yeah.
And so all of our flights round trip were covered with points. And I had the Chase Freedom card that I had used that from. We'd only saved up for like, I mean, points from like a year. It wasn't anything, it really honestly wasn't anything crazy for a European trip, you know?
Yeah, you don't have to save for as long as people think.
Yeah, yeah. So anyways, you give so and one other thing we did too is we're currently Airbnb hosts for our house in Austin, not for long because we put that on the market, but they give you special rewards for being super host. And so we were able to use points for being an Airbnb host to get like $100 off or $200 off or whatever for Airbnbs in Portugal, which was really
Oh,
cool too.
awesome.
So we were doing some things, but I know you go like way into a lot more of the little tips and tricks and backdoor stuff that you learn about that I was just like, oh, here's a here's a flight. Our points cover it. There we go. Where I'm like, oh my God, if I would have just, I mean, you didn't know that at that time because it was like July 2022, right? So you
Yeah.
didn't know all of this stuff yet. You've had like a year and a half now of studying it. But
Well,
so
next time you can fly to Portugal in first class and you can have
there you
like the
go.
lay down
Oh my
seat
God.
for probably the same amount of points you paid for the
Don't
other
tell
flight.
Cam that. He will be so pissed that I didn't do my research. Anyways, okay, so other it's not just like airfare stuff. You give toddler travel tips, how to get fancy upgrades like for free, advice on using hotel credits and hotel points and then credit card points and airlines points because they're all very different and you use them in different ways. Like you say 60,000 points doesn't mean a $600 credit. I've made that mistake in the past of like being like, sure, I'll take the $600. And I'm like, oh my God, how, like, I could have done probably a 3 week trip in Europe for that and not just given myself a $600 credit card credit, whatever. I don't want to talk about it anymore. I'm just going to utilize you from here on out. How to cheat the system by utilizing certain cards in certain ways, not having to spend a ton of money each month on the cards just to get points, knowing when to open certain cards because it makes most sense to get bonus points, and budgeting tips. Like you cover literally everything. So, y'all pause the episode right now. Go give Megan a follow on Instagram. Her link will be in the show notes. It's points to TOO Paradise. And yeah, tell us a little bit about this. I know that so y'all went to Clearwater, Florida last year for $11. Explain how you did that.
So the $11 was for our flights. It was 560 for each of us for a round trip flight. We flew Southwest over to Clearwater from El Paso, Texas. And when you fly Southwest, you can use your points, and they only charge you for the fees and taxes of that flight when you use your points. And so it cost us 560 for just of our flights. We had some Chase cards, and Chase is one of my favorite banks to use because you can transfer those points to different airline and hotel partners. So, like you were saying, the 60,000 points, instead of cashing that out for $600, you can transfer those points over to Southwest or Hyatt or Marriott or all these different transfer partners. And you can usually get a value out of those like 60,000 points for about $2,000 to $3,000 instead of that $600. So you're getting way more value out of it. So we transferred them to Southwest. We flew over there. And then we also used those Chase points at a Hyatt hotel. And we got to stay at a beachfront resort right on the beach. And they even upgraded us to a king bedroom ocean view suite. And the
Nice.
rate of that room I looked up was like $770 a night. And we stayed there for 3 nights and paid $0 to stay there. And then they also waive your hotel fee that they have with the hotel as well. So we paid $0 to stay on an oceanfront suite, which was amazing. And it was such a like a family friendly resort and very upscale. It was kind of nice because we walk in and we start checking in and they're like, do you want some champagne to sip on while you check in? And they like hand you a flute. And then they're like, oh, here's some juice for your daughter. Like they were
Yeah.
just so accommodating. It was amazing, like to have that service and know that like all these people in here paid tons of money to be here,
Yeah.
and we did it.
That's amazing. I know that you shared this on one of your reels a little while ago. If you're comfortable sharing it on here, just as a fun tip, how do you get upgraded to like a suite or a fancier room for free
So
or
what
for low cost?
So what you do is you book the hotel room with your points, just like normal. It would be a standard room. And then about a week before you go on the trip, you do some like Google background research and see if you can find the manager or the general manager's email. And you email them directly and you say what your rewards number is with that hotel, the dates that you're traveling to that hotel. Say if like there's a special reason you're going, if it's like your daughter's birthday or your anniversary, just really say how excited you are. Maybe it's your first time going there. And then just ask kindly, like, if I could be upgraded to a different room. We would really appreciate it. Thank you. And every single time I have done this, I have gotten an upgrade.
Yeah. because they know by then that that room's probably not going to get booked, or at least
Yeah.
maybe they have 10 of those rooms and only one is booked and they're like, well, this isn't going to get booked, like whatever.
Yeah.
That's an amazing idea. Okay, I have two funny just random stories for you. Number one, my maiden name is Bing, and so it was Allison Bing. And there's apparently a travel writer named Allison Bing who is like works for TripAdvisor and writes for Foeders and what Foeders is it Foeders, whatever it's called. You know,
Viator.
FODOR. What is it?
Viator.
No, FODOR apostrophe S. It was like, okay, it's like a travel book from the 80s. I'm dating myself. Anyways, I don't know if she still does this anymore, but there have been like 3 times that I have been, this was in my 20s probably, that I have been checking into hotels and they have upgraded me automatically because they thought that I was her. And I just took
Oh,
it. I was like,
wow.
cool, that's fine. I think it's like, I think it's ALISON Bing. So it's pretty funny because I can't do that anymore because I don't have an ID that says Bing, but that would be fun if I could. And then another one of my best friends and my college roommate what worked for a super fancy boutique hotel in Austin in college and after college, and seeing the way all of that went down. Now, I know that not most boutique hotels you might not be able to do points for or whatever, but this is just like overall hotel management stuff. I don't know, whatever. She was like the manager of the little boutique hotel, and she would come home and like tell us all these crazy stories and things that they had to do for people and whatever. At fancy hotels, like, and I don't want to put this out there that like rich people are bad because they're not. Like they're not, but sometimes whether you have a lot of money or not, you can be real I don't know, annoying at hotels. Like you see it when people I was a server in college, like a server at a steakhouse, so I know to always be kind and respectful for wait staff and all that kind of stuff, but not everybody's that way. And sometimes we'll treat the hotel staff or the wait staff sort of bad, and they just deal with a lot. And so when you come and you're kind to people, it's they will like bow down to you and give you freaking everything that they can. They really, and it's good to be kind to people regardless of if you're going to get extra perks or not. But like a year ago, my parents gave me and Cam a gift certificate to a bed and breakfast. And I called and I booked it and had made the reservations and everything. The girl who helped me didn't make our reservations. And it was a tiny bed and breakfast. And it was like we had childcare. It was like we were celebrating our 5-year anniversary, like all the things. And a
Oh,
week before, I like was like, hey, can we check in early? She goes, I don't have you down. And I was like, "Oh my god." Like I don't think we had a child we hadn't had a child-free night in over a year. At all. At all. And
oh,
parents know how deeply important that is to just like sleep all night quietly in a hotel room. Like it's truly heaven sometimes. And so instead of getting upset, I was just like, "Okay, this is for our 5-year anniversary. I really need some time away. What can we do?" She's like, "It is so everything's sold out for a weekend, like a wedding weekend or whatever." She's like, "Let me get on the phone with my manager." And she found a nearby hotel that she got us into for 2 nights for free. And it was just as nice and whatever. And then we got to use the gift certificate later. So we got 4 nights instead of 2 nights,
oh, that's awesome.
and it was amazing. So just like you can always ask and just always
Yes.
be kind. And the worst thing that can happen is they say no, you know?
Yeah. And I've even seen them like you said, when you're really nice, they will go above and beyond. And I've seen them do like leaving birthday cakes in the room with like balloons for you if it's
Yeah,
your birthday, or like leaving you chocolate covered strawberries if it's your anniversary. And so they really will like go above and beyond at some of those like boutique hotels.
I love that. Okay, so I know, and we'll get this to this at the very end too. I know that you have a freebie that we want to make sure that everybody grabs. What all is inside of that freebie that people can have for all their travel tips?
So that freebie is about 14 pages and
Whoa,
it
okay.
is everything that you need to know to get started before you like open up your first card, the things that you need to know, make sure that you're organized and have all of your kind of ducks in a row. It goes through how to apply, what card would be the best first card for you to apply for, and then how to use those points within the travel portal, and then how to maximize your points so that you're getting that value out of it rather than the cashback value and what you can transfer those points to. So it gives you kind of just the rundown of everything you need to know to get started in this really fun hobby.
I love it. It is. Oh my gosh. I mean, I know it's a hobby and I know it's like something that we do. People like will save up and have their one vacation a year and whatever. And it's been so cool watching you take your family on so many vacations. How many trips has your daughter been on? And she's not even like 3.
She is a year and a half
Yeah.
and
Yeah. Not even 2. Sorry.
she's been on 3 flights
Oh,
and 5 vacations.
nice.
And
I
the
love
crazy thing too is she's been on 3 flights already, and my husband didn't go on his first flight until he was 18 years old.
Oh,
So I think it's really cool that she gets to do that.
yes, that is so special. And then you also have a membership. What all do y'all do in there? I know that, everybody definitely grab Megan's freebie because super, I mean, 14 pages of all the information. That's probably all you need. But then if you are like maybe you're somebody like me where you already have a couple of cards that have points, so you don't need to like necessarily go open another one, but you could like I could join your membership and you could help guide me on you figuring out which one to use for what and like how to like if I should use one for the airline points and if one's better for the hotel points or whatever that. What kind of stuff do y'all talk about in your membership?
Yeah, honestly, the earning the points is like the easiest part of it. And I have lots of people that are like, I have 200,000 points on this card. Like, what do I do? And I'm like, oh my gosh. So I created the membership so that you can actually start booking vacations and trips and using your points and maximizing them so that you can get the most value out of them. Because, like you said, most people just use them all on one trip when they could have maximized them for 3 trips. And so it's called the Mom's Travel Tribe. It's a monthly membership that you pay for, and you get access to the Facebook group where you can ask me any questions, where I can help you book vacations. We have once a month Zoom calls where we have hot seats and we help you actually go through and look for flights and all that kind of stuff. If you're looking for a vacation, we have once a month trainings on Zoom as well. So each month I'll bring in like a guest speaker and we have different trainings. And it's just a really great community of mostly moms that are just trying to take their families on really amazing vacations.
I love that so much. And you do one-on-one coaching too. If somebody doesn't want to do like the group vibe and they just want to hire you to be like, okay, I need you to help me plan this
Yeah.
vacation and do it correctly and do it for less than $100 or whatever that is. You do that as well, right?
Yep, I do that as well if you just need help booking that one trip.
Awesome. I love it. So, fun question for you. What are 3 places on your bucket list that you're hoping to check off in the next couple of years?
This one was hard because there's a lot of places that I want to go. I have like a whole list, and my husband's like, okay, let's slow down a little bit. um, but we really want to go to New Zealand. That is one of our big trips that we want to do. I've never really gone anywhere other than the United States, so I'm really excited. We're gonna do first class seats
Nice.
over there and then spend a bunch of time out on New Zealand, and we'll probably do a couple days in Sydney too.
Mhm.
So
Nice.
that's a trip hopefully we'll be doing maybe next year. We're going to do that. We can travel a lot in the winter, and the winter is their summer. So we're going to try
Yes.
to time that perfectly. Costa Rica is a number 1 on my bucket list. So we're going to go down there hopefully next year. And then this sounds super cliche, but I really want to take Paige to Disney World.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
So we're gonna go actually this fall. We're gonna go take her before she turns 3 because before they turn 3, they're free. And we're gonna stay on site at one of the Disney resorts, and we are using our points for the hotel, the flights, and the Disney tickets, and all the food inside the park. So it's like literally a free trip.
Nice. And you have all of that information and resourcing if somebody does want to do a Disney trip. You know how to get them in contact
Yeah.
with everything that
Actually,
they
when you
need.
sign up for the membership, you have instant access to like all of my PDF and guides, and there's one in there for how to travel to Disney for less.
I love it. It's so funny. We were at gymnastics for Caroline the other day, and there were like two moms and two little girls that both had just gotten back from Disney. And it's so funny because I feel like everything's so freaking polarized in this world lately. You either get like the Disney enthusiasts or the people who are like Disney is the devil. And here's the deal, people. Number one, okay, Epstein's Island doesn't exist anymore, correct? I hope not. I mean,
No.
just don't get off of the Disney cruise on Epstein's Island. Just don't do it. Just don't do it. Um, also with Disney stuff, okay, being raised on Disney, I didn't even mean to go here, but I sort of have to because it's interesting.
That's okay.
Is Caroline does well, actually, Caroline only likes Frozen. She doesn't like anything else Disney, and I don't know if it's maybe because Frozen doesn't have a quote unquote bad guy other than Hans, and
Mhm.
he's not like that scary. Um,
Yeah,
I do, I like I do feel like I was conditioned a little bit by the like fairy tale thing, and I'm not like a true feminist, like you know what I mean? I'm not a feminist in that way, but I don't want her to think that if she doesn't get married by 25, like something's wrong with her. And I definitely think like the Disney fairy tale thing did that to me. So we're just going to be careful with that. But I swear, Disney World, I went, I think, 3 times when I was little, and it was the most magical memory. Like it truly was. And
it
nothing
is.
bad happened. And I know that corporate wise, they're sometimes connected to big pharma and all that, but Disney, the man did not ever meant for that to happen. And truly, they're like, if you go watch, we watched the decorating Disney
Ooh,
for the holidays. It's like a 45-minute video, and Caroline was mesmerized. They show how they decorate Disneyland and Disney World, and it's like a months long situation getting it ready for the holidays. And I just cried every time I watched it. I was like, this is just so special. And the people that work there are just so care,
yeah.
like they're just caring and so sweet, and it's the best. So that's my view on Disney. You can hate it if you want to, that's fine. But if you love it and you want to take a trip, Megan's your girl. Also Costa Rica, I need to get you in contact. One of my good friends, Ashley, just actually moved her family to Costa Rica in 2020, right after the election.
Ooh.
And she has lots of tips for Costa Rica and stuff. So, and I've been a couple of times, but I did not travel, quote unquote, hack my way through there at all. I just took a Southwest flight from Houston. We actually got to stay somewhere for free. It was one of my best friend's bosses had a villa there. So I think it was a free trip other than paying for the rental car. Oh my God. A rental car through Costa Rica is very interesting, but it's fine. It was very inexpensive there. I've never been to New Zealand or Australia. What airline are you looking at, and how are you doing the flight points for
So
that?
we are looking at it's Qantas Airlines.
Okay.
I think I'm saying that right. They have one of the best first class type
Yeah.
experiences. And you can use the great thing about airlines is that they all have alliances within the airlines that they're all part of. So, like, if you don't have Qantas points, you can use like United is in their alliance, and you can use those points to book that flight. So,
Nice.
international flights can be a little tricky to book, but you can get some really, really good deals and pay less for like a first class flight versus some people paying for their economy flight.
That is so okay. Yeah, I need to utilize you once we're ready to travel here soon. Um, One thing I was going to say too, I don't know if I've talked to you about this, but when I was little, my dad's parents, instead of giving any of the family Christmas gifts, they do one trip a year. And it was so special. There's like 4 grandchildren. So it wasn't like it wasn't like flying 20 people somewhere. We had a smaller family, but it was still so special. Like we went to Hawaii and Paris and Belize, and it was
Yeah,
just like really, really neat. And we like as kids looked forward to that. We were like, I don't want a present. I want a trip. It's
yeah,
just so like so neat. And I'm like, I'm I'm a Sagittarius, so like I love travel, I love exploration, I love adventure, I love planning the trips. Like planning the
Yeah.
trips is just as fun as taking the trip sometimes, but like looking back, the memories that you have on vacations, I think because it's so removed from monotony and everyday life, those are like, you know how they say core memories with
Yeah,
kids?
I was just gonna say that.
Yeah, it's like always that way. Like Caroline still talks about Portugal. And I know she was almost 3. I think she was almost 3. She was like only at like 2 months away from being 3. So she might have remembered it because that's sort of when you start to remember things is at age 3. But either way, I think she remembers us talking about it and the pictures and all
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. Um, and it doesn't matter where you go. You don't have to go to Europe or New Zealand. It can be
Yeah.
just somewhere like we went camping a few months ago, just literally 40 minutes from our house. And Caroline goes, I liked camping better than Portugal. I'm like, cool. Camping cost $100 and Portugal costs way more than that. Um,
Yeah.
but you
Yeah,
know,
we started doing that same thing with trips, and we started taking a family trip every Christmas because
love
when you
it.
get to our age, it's like, well, what are you gonna buy your brother-in-law? Like, let's
Yeah.
just save our money and go on a trip that we're gonna like make memories on.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm even that way with some of my best girlfriends. Like, we don't all live in the same places, but even if we did, I don't really want to hang out with my friends every weekend. I'd rather take like 2 trips a year and make like really core memories and have like quality time
Yeah.
with them. But I have a really cool quote that I don't know if I've shared this a few times, but not recently. It's from a book called Moonwalking with Einstein, The Art and Science of Remembering Everything. And I want to share it with y'all. And I might put it in, like when I post the show, I might put it in the caption because it's so cool. And I might cry. Anyways, it says, monotony collapses time, novelty unfolds it. You can exercise daily and eat healthily and live a long life while experiencing a short one. Oh, that's when it makes me cry. If you spend your life sitting in a cubicle passing papers, one day is bound to blend unmemorably into the next and disappear. That's why it's so important to change routines regularly, take vacations to exotic locales, and have as many new experiences as possible that can serve to anchor our memories. Creating new memories stretches out psychological time and lengthens our perception of our lives. Oh, isn't that such a good
Oh,
quote?
that is such a good one.
I will send this to you so that you can use it
I, I
in
want
your
that.
branding and stuff. It's so good. I just think that whether you're taking like Megan has been posting a lot lately about national parks, so it's not like you have to do this elaborate vacation that would normally cost $10,000, even if she can get it down to like 500 for you. Like you could do something really, really inexpensive that is so potent with novelty that it will be a memory that you have forever. Um, so
That's
I,
why I love it so much because it can really be whatever you want it to be. Like if you are a Disney fanatic and that's all you want to do, like you can do that. Or if you want to just go camping 2 hours from your house, like it's tailored to whatever your family's like travel goals are.
I love it. Okay, y'all go give Megan a follow on her Instagram, Points to Paradise. Check out her podcast. I'll put that in the link in the show notes too. It's also called Points to Paradise and it just launched yesterday. So happy birthday to your podcast. And then
Thank
the
you.
freebie and the membership. Is there anything else that you want to share or anything you want to send away our listeners with?
No, I think that's it. I'm just excited for you to start diving into the world of travel points and see where it can take you because it really doesn't take very long to accumulate those points. If you started today, you could be taking a vacation for almost free in like 3 months.
Right.
So it's not a huge commitment.
Yeah. If you still don't have a spring break trip planned and want one, okay, I have 2 pieces of homework for you. If you still don't have a spring break trip planned and you want to make one, send Megan a DM that just says spring break and she can sort of like based on where you and where you live. And then she can sort of send you some info on that. And then number 2, if you don't want to go somewhere for spring break or you already have plans, send her the name of like a bucket list city that you'd love to visit in the next 12 months and do this for. And she can tell you if she's been there or not, or if she has any tips for you or not. And yeah, I didn't tell you I was going to send people your way, but I know that you like to
That's okay.
hear from your followers and all of that kind of stuff. And I know that you have so many tips to send them and all that kind of stuff. So thank you for coming on. And I'm
Yes.
glad that you listened to that invitation because you are really good at what you do. And I know that it lights you up. And I know that you're just in the beginning stages of your business from the past year and a half, but the podcast that just came out this week is going to be everything, and people are going to share it, and I can't wait. I already subscribed, even though just the trailer is up there, but I can't wait to listen because we're recording this like a few days in advance. So I will be one of the first people to listen, and congratulations.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having me. This is very fun.
Thanks, Megan. You guys go give Megan a follow. Tell her I sent you, that you listen to the You Do Woo podcast, and subscribe to her podcast too. We'll talk to y'all soon. Bye.